Alright, be honest. How many times have you told yourself, this time I'll study smart, not hard, only to end up cramming at the last minute, drowning in notes and praying for a miracle? Yeah, we've all been there. The ACCA exams don't just test what you know, they test how well you handle pressure. And let's be real, no one wants to walk into that exam hall feeling like a ticking time bomb. Now imagine this. You walk in, cool as ever, no panic, no last-minute regrets. You know exactly what to expect and how to tackle it. That's not luck. That's strategy. And in 2025, the game has changed. I get it. The pressure is insane. You've got work, maybe even family responsibilities, and somehow you're supposed to juggle all that while preparing for one of the toughest exams out there. And let's not even talk about the guilt, the constant feeling that you should be studying more, doing more, being more prepared. But here's the thing, it's not about how many hours you put in. It's about what you do with them. I know what it's like to feel stuck, to doubt yourself, to stare at a page full of numbers and wonder if any of it is actually sinking in. But trust me, you're not alone. And you're not doomed to struggle forever. This time, we do things differently. This time, you get the edge. Let's talk real strategies, real mindset shifts, and real ways to make 2025 the year you finally take control of your ACCA journey. One of the biggest struggles? Procrastination. We convince ourselves there's plenty of time, and suddenly the exam is around the corner, and panic sets in. I used to tell myself I'll start fresh next week, and before I knew it, I was staring at a pile of untouched notes with barely a month left. The fix? A structured study plan that actually works. Not one of those overambitious, unrealistic schedules that demand 10 hours a day, because let's be real, that's never happening. Instead, break it down. Small, focused study sessions. I started using the Pomodoro technique. 25-minute bursts of studying, short breaks in between. It changed everything. Then there's information overload. Ever felt like you're drowning in study materials? I used to hoard every book, every past paper, thinking I needed them all, but that only led to more confusion and stress. The solution? Quality over quantity. Stick to core materials. Identify your weak areas and focus on them. And past papers? Absolute gold. But don't just read them. Practice under timed conditions. Make the exam feel like second nature. And let's be real, some days you just don't feel like studying. I had moments where I questioned if I was even cut out for ACCA. The doubt creeps in, and suddenly, everything feels impossible. Here's what helped me push through. Remembering my why. Why did I start this journey? Why does passing matter to me? When I tied my studies to my bigger goal, career growth, financial freedom, proving to myself that I could do it, it reignited that drive. Write your why down. Look at it every single day. Let it push you through the tough moments. You're not just preparing for an exam, you're preparing for a future where you call the shots. And when you finally pass, when you finally achieve what once felt impossible, it's worth every struggle. Now, let's break down the step-by-step game plan that will set you up for success in 2025. So how do you actually make 2025 the year you conquer ACCA? Not just survive it, but walk into that exam with confidence, knowing you've got this? 1. Study smart, not just hard. You've probably heard this before, but let me tell you, this is the game changer. Studying for hours doesn't guarantee success. What does? Understanding the exam structure, knowing exactly what's expected, and practicing like it's the real deal. First, break your syllabus into manageable chunks. Instead of trying to master everything at once, focus on high-weightage topics first. Know what's frequently tested. ACCA isn't about remembering every single word from your textbook. It's about applying knowledge under pressure. Next, active recall is your best friend. Don't just read, quiz yourself. Challenge yourself with past papers, test your memory, and explain concepts out loud as if you're teaching someone else. This forces your brain to work, and trust me, it sticks way better than passive reading. 2. Master time management. Let's be honest. Time mismanagement is what wrecks most students. Ever felt like you spent weeks on one topic only to realize you neglected 5 others? Yeah, I've been there. That's why you need a strategy. Set clear study hours and stick to them. But here's the trick. Study at the time when your brain is at its best. Are you a morning person, a night owl, Use your peak hours for difficult topics and leave easier reviews for when your energy dips. And don't just plan study time, plan revision time too. The biggest mistake? Studying a topic once and assuming you'll remember it. Nope. You need to keep coming back to it, reinforcing the knowledge at regular intervals. That's how it sticks. 3. Practice like it's exam day. You wouldn't train for a marathon by just reading about running, right? Then don't prepare for ACCA by just reading notes. You need to simulate real exam conditions. Here's what worked for me. Find a quiet place, set a timer, and do a full mock exam. No distractions, no notes, just like the real thing. The first time, it's rough, but by the third or fourth, you'll start feeling in control. And that's the goal, to make exam day feel like just another practice run. 4. Learn from your mistakes. Every mistake is a lesson, if you pay attention. When you get a question wrong, don't just move on. Stop and ask, why did I get this wrong? Did I misread the question? Did I forget a key concept? This reflection is where the real learning happens. I used to rush through practice tests, thinking I was making progress, but it wasn't until I started analyzing my mistakes, understanding the patterns of where I went wrong, that I saw real improvement. 5. Keep your mind right. And finally, the biggest factor, your mindset. Because let's face it, ACCA is as much a mental challenge as it is an academic one. There will be days when self-doubt creeps in. Days when you feel like you're not good enough, but let me tell you, every single person who passed this exam had those same doubts. The difference? They didn't let it stop them. So, take care of yourself, sleep well, eat right, move your body. A tired, stressed out mind doesn't absorb information. Give yourself the best chance to succeed by staying sharp, mentally and physically. And remember, you're not alone in this. You've got what it takes. You just need the right strategy. So, are you ready to finally take control of your ACCA journey? Let's do this, because this time, it's different. Now meet Lily. She was just like most ACCA students, overwhelmed, exhausted, and struggling to balance studies with work. She had attempted an exam before and failed, not because she wasn't smart enough, but because she was studying the wrong way. Cramming late at night, jumping from one topic to another without a plan, and relying on passive reading. Sound familiar? She felt stuck, doubting if she'd ever pass. But then, she changed her approach. Instead of studying endlessly, she focused on strategic studying, prioritizing high-weight topics, and practicing past papers. Active recall, testing herself instead of just reading notes. Timed mock exams, simulating real exam pressure to build confidence. Analyzing mistakes, not just moving on, but really understanding where she went wrong. The result? She didn't just pass, she passed with flying colors. That same person who once doubted herself became one of the top scorers in her batch. And when I asked her what made the biggest difference, here's what she said: the teach to learn method. You think you understand a topic? Try teaching it to someone else. Even if you don't have a study partner, explain it to an imaginary student, record yourself, or write it out in the simplest way possible. The moment you struggle to explain something clearly, you found a weak spot. Fix that, and you'll never forget it. The 80-20 rule of studying. Not all topics are created equal. 80% of your exam questions will come from 20% of the syllabus. Find out which topics hold the most weight. These are your gold mines. Master them first, and you'll already be ahead. This doesn't mean ignoring everything else, but it does mean working smarter, not harder. Reverse engineering exam questions. Instead of just solving past papers, study them backward. Look at the answers first and break down why they are correct. What structure did they use? What keywords made the difference? Understanding how examiners think will put you in their shoes. And that's a game changer. The mind dump technique before sleep. Your brain processes and strengthens memories while you sleep. Before bed, take a blank sheet and quickly write down everything you remember from your study session. No notes, no peeking. This forces your brain to recall information, and when you wake up, review it. You'll be shocked at how much you retain. Simulating exam stress on purpose. Here's the truth. Your biggest enemy isn't just a tough exam, it's pressure. So why not train yourself to handle it? Set a timer, do a full paper under stress, and practice in noisy environments sometimes. If you can focus when conditions aren't perfect, imagine how easy the real exam will feel. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Are you just going to hope you pass, or are you going to prepare like you already have? Because those who truly commit to these strategies, they're the ones who walk into the exam hall with confidence, knowing they've already won. Now, are you ready to be one of them? All right, take a deep breath. We've covered a lot, but here's the thing. Stressing about the exam won't make you pass, but smart preparation will. And hey, if things feel overwhelming, just remember, even the toughest ACCA exam is no match for someone who's prepared. So go on, take a break, grab a snack, maybe even watch an episode of your favorite show. Just don't let it turn into a whole season binge, okay? And if you're wondering, okay, this is great, but how do I make sure I pass on the very first attempt? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about in the next video. I'll break down the exact formula that successful ACCA candidates use to clear their exams on the first go. So, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you there. Now go crush those studies, but not before grabbing that snack.